Well, in the middle of recording another thing, we got some good news here. If you're a Denver Nuggets fan, I think the Nuggets and Jamal Murray are going to agree to a 4-year, $209 million max contract extension this offseason. Sources tell Shams Charania of the Athletic and Stadium. Swipa, we were recording something else during the middle of this, but wanted to
Facts.
get something out here. What are your initial thoughts? The Nuggets bringing back Jamal Murray.
Well, number one, this is the way the NBA works. You win titles, you perform at a high level, you get paid. And Jamal Murray has earned his way into getting this deal. And especially given the fact that OG Anunoby just got a 5-year, $215 million deal with not even near as close of a resume as Jamal Murray does. And he got drafted 1 year later after Jamal as well. So all that stuff in play is this is just the NBA. And Jamal is one of the best number 2 options in the league. He's one of the best playoff performers in the league. He obviously was worn down, had little injury ridden this last playoff run. But again, like Ryan, for me, Jamal's getting this. This is roughly going to be about $52 million a year. Look, if Jamal wins another title during this contract or even this next year before it starts, then it doesn't matter. Like, this is all noise. So he deserves it. This is a premium player in the NBA, and he's worked really hard up to this point. And so I'm really happy for Jamal that he's getting this opportunity and the money that he deserves.
Me too, man. As everybody knows that's associated with me, I'm connected to Jamal. I like to kind of go to bat for him in some ways where others sort of undercut him and have undercut him for a long time. I think that this is a really, really important moment for Denver. And this was kind of a pivotal point for the Nuggets in free agency because Jamal was eligible for this extension, and they could have decided that they wanted to go a different direction. If Nikola Jokic, if the Nuggets, if they felt like their best chance to win was not with Jamal Murray, then they might have explored trade scenarios. That's just how the nature of the NBA works in these cases. But they decided, and I think it's a smart thing. I think that betting on the future of Jamal Murray is still wise. I think that the Nuggets are in a good position where, with Jokic and Murray leading the way, I think they can win another championship with that duo. I think they can win another championship. I think that there's all-star appearances in Jamal Murray's future still. It's on him to continue to earn that, to continue to prove that. But I think that this is a nice start, and it's a nice commitment from this Nuggets team that you're going to commit to the duo that won you your first ever championship. And both of them were unbelievable in the playoffs when that happened.
Right. Yeah, and I think some of this is, Jamal, he has such an interesting reputation because he played so well in the playoffs that some people think it's a mirage, even though it's happened 3 times.
Yeah.
And then he has this other part of him that's like, well, he's not played any all-star games. His numbers, 21 points, 6 assists. That's not anything that's crazy. But again, Jamal, like, he takes care of business. He comes into this year in shape and feeling good and healthy and takes off all these months. He plays well in the Olympics. I mean, he really has a chance to have a career season this year. So this is just the, part of course. And so I do think that he has room to get even better. That was his best playmaking season last year that he's had. He also shot insane 48% from the field and 42% from 3 and 85% from the free throw line.
Right.
Those are, if he's on a higher volume, those are all-star numbers, but so I think Jamal, man, if he's healthy and right, man, and it's just going to take him to a different level. And honestly, like, if he gets better, then the Nuggets are paying him at his lowest value right now, which is insane to think about. So I hope the best for Jamal. He's 27 now. The life of his contract will basically go from until he's 32 years old. So, this is the middle of his prime. And so he's being rewarded for it.
How important is it, do you think, that he continues to improve, that he continues to become an all-star, like not only in talent, but also in like name and actual production during the regular season? Because there's a lot of shifting going on from Denver, and he's being paid like an all-star. He's going to be paid like the 10th or 15th highest paid player in the NBA per year. So this is a really big jump from a numbers standpoint for a player who, like, let's face it, he hasn't been awesome during the regular season from an impact standpoint all the time. What do they need from him going forward to continue to like justify this deal?
I mean, again, a lot of this is just if he can play 65, 70 games, and again, that's like a lower end. That's not even a lot of games. Like, if he 65 games, you get 17 games off a year into the season, especially going into the playoff, then that's
Right.
perfectly fine. They were again, Ryan, they were 44 and freaking 15 when Jamal Murray and Jokic played last year. That's
Really good.
insanity. That's like a 61 win pace. So if they play 65 games and they keep a similar pace as that, and like I said, man, then like the team is like they're basically almost winning 60 games when they're playing on the court. So if you can get Jamal 22 points a game, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds, but then his splits are a 49, 41, and then his free throw shooting was bad last year, but for him, but a
You can get to
40,
90.
yeah,
Yeah.
49, 41, and he's like an 89 free throw shooter, and then he's playing good defense 65 games a year. That's more than good enough for what the Nuggets need in the regular season. Because come playoff time, then he needs to be the 25, 5, and 5 player again. But because the volume is going to go up the way he's being defended and stuff. So, and on top of that, too, I think he needs to do a better job anchoring the bench unit. That's also a part of this as well. Like if he's able to carry over that bench unit, and that way they don't have to rely on like Jokic as much and everything else, then again, that's also Jamal Murray proving its value. And again, I think him and Jaylen Brown are in the same tier, and he's being paid significantly less than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this breaks down. But I'm with you, man, that this is going to be an interesting sort of break because we've heard a lot about KCP potentially leaving for money. One of the reasons for that is because Denver's paying their top 3 guys, including Michael Porter Jr., so much money. And it sounds like they're doubling down on that strategy and making sure to commit to Jokic and Murray making the most amount of money long term. I don't know what that future means for the rest of the team. I don't know that this is going to look like for Aaron Gordon, for Michael Porter going forward, but I do think that Denver can continue to compete as long as they continue to replenish talent and Murray is playing at an all-star caliber level during that time. I do think that the non-Jokic minutes were such a big deal for
Right.
Denver this last year for like in the playoffs. He's got to be one to take ownership of that. And that's sort of the responsibility in this case, where when both of those guys are on the floor, they were dynamic. I remember it was like a plus 15 net rating during the regular season, which was equivalent to, like you said, about a 60-win team. But when those guys were not sharing the floor together, Jokic was good, not great. The team was good, not great.
Mm-hmm.
And then lineups led by Murray were horrible. They were not good. So he can do better, and I think he will do better. The Nuggets have to continue to put him into a place to succeed, and maybe a young guy like Deron Holmes could be helpful there.
Yeah, I think Holmes will be helpful, but again, this kind of goes back to KCP. If KCP does leave, then you got to make sure you're giving him players that can help him to do the job that he needs to do as a facilitator, playmaker, and scorer. Because it can't just be Jamal Murray, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, and
Christian
Deron
Brown.
Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not no, sir. So even Giannis might struggle with that at times. So I just think they just need to make sure they're putting the players around Jamal Murray, give him some floor spacing and some other defenders, and keep it moving. But there's a next level for him to get to with his game, and I believe he has the potential to do it.
I do too. I would like to see him continue to try to push for an all-star appearance in the regular season. I know that might be contrary to what a lot of people would hope for, where you're just gearing yourself up for the playoffs, kind of waiting it out. But I do think that there's a status thing there. There's something that, like, if you're in the prime of your career, if you want to be remembered for various things, like Jamal's going to be remembered for clutch play, for performing in the playoffs, for rising to the occasion and raising his level in those moments. What I want him to be remembered for is how, yeah, he was rising to that level before people knew that he was at that level all the time.
Right.
And like, he's capable of that. I firmly believe that. So we'll see whether he can do it. We'll see what the Nuggets look like. But this is a big, big piece of news for Denver at this stage of the offseason, where a lot of stuff that they're trying to figure out, but they're locking in Murray and Jokic long term.
Facts. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens. Shout out Jamal Murray, $209 million, one of the richest men in the world.
Let me hold $1, man. Let me hold $1. I'm just kidding. Everybody, let us know what you think of this Jamal Murray extension. Was it the right move by the Nuggets? Where do you think Jamal Murray and the Nuggets go from here? He's Swipa. I'm Ryan. We're out.